Alright, video disclaimer for everyone telling me just to go drive it out in Canada. Look at it out here. Look at all this white stuff. It's not even that cold. It's only like minus 15 out, but it literally snowed like 4 inches last night, and that's a lot of snow, right, ladies? That's not a lot of snow? Like, no, that's like no snow. Is average? Clearly I cannot go drive it today because if we don't have any bare pavement, it's not even worth trying to drive because I feel like it's just gonna slip all over the place. I don't have winter tires for it. So what we did is we got it all buttoned up. It's 100% now except for one gasket that I'm waiting in the mail, and you'll see the video here. Make sure to like the video and stay thirsty. Y'all wanna hear some turbo noises? That's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna button everything up. It's gonna be completed by the end of today, and then that's it. We're not touching it anymore. We're gonna take it out to test, and it's gonna be fun as heck. Remember, every subscriber counts. We just hit 152 not long ago. I appreciate that. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button and the subscribe button. Let's get into it. We're gonna slip our front end back on here and just see if we can find a good spot to mount a radiator fill point-ish. Honestly, we might be able to get away with just mounting it up here for now. Right by the header. On this. Wow, these batteries suck. Now if I just make this thing flat on the bottom and then plate it on the bottom part, it should make the perfect fill point for our engine. One outlet, we just have to add another one in this side, and then it can come through here, and then this will be hopefully the highest point in the engine. So here's our cute little tank with our reservoir cap. We do have to build an overflow eventually for it, but it's as simple as going from here to here now, and then going from down here into the frame, and then from here down into the frame as well. And then cap off both ends, and then that's going to the back, and then hook up to 2 lines of the radiator, and then complete flow. Even flow. I shouldn't sing, I'm not a really good singer. I'm trying not to bore you guys too much. I want to get it driving. I just need some 3/4 inch hose now. I just said hose. To go from here to our jar thing here and then down into the frame there. We capped it off on the front, capped it off on the front here, and then that's the one that goes to right there. In theory, in the back, we're running AN lines, and up front, we're going to be running rubber hose. So if anything bursts in our cooling system because there's too much pressure in the cooling system, it should be in the front and not in the rear. So you shouldn't be at any risk back there with that trans cooler exploding or the AN lines exploding, because that's like 200 PSI of pressure capabilities, and then this is like not 200 PSI. Maybe it is, who knows? We've made some decent progress today, but we have to weld up our exhaust fully because it did fall apart on our drive. It was only held up by like 3 tiny tack welds, so obviously the weight of the exhaust shaking and stuff broke it. We've got that one welded in, we got that one welded in. I did spend some time welding up like a lot of the stuff under here that was only tack welded in. So like the steering, the one that holds the steering, the one that actually holds the wheels in place was only like tack welded in. So I welded up a lot of that stuff. So once the exhaust is welded back on, we can put it back in and then put the whole front clip on permanently. That's a little exciting. Look at it, it's like bullhorns, but that's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be like my pro mod. So something like this was actually the motivation for the mower, with dual bullhorns coming up both sides and in the middle mount turbo. Kind of like this setup on this Mustang.
We almost forgot one really important thing. And I always overlook it because I'm like, that's gonna be so simple, I'm gonna do that after. And then I'm like, that's gonna be so simple, I'm gonna do that after. And I put it off and then I forgot about it.
If you look down here, this is what actually controls the boost right here. This wastegate flapper, we have no actuator for it. Luckily, I do have an actuator for it. It's just, I gotta build a bracket for it. Well, the bracket's here. I just gotta move this bracket, I think. So I'm probably gonna cut this bracket right here and hopefully weld it onto the top side over here, assuming this is steel. Originally, it fit here somewhere, but because of where our front mount's in, it cannot fit there anymore. Definitely not the most ideal placement. All I did was cut the bracket a little bit on the top here, drill a new hole, and I mounted it to a single hole on the turbo. But it does fit in there. The angle isn't perfect, but our wastegate flapper is closed.
Now, believe it or not, it should change the tone of the exhaust to what it was before because the flapper was open. It's just running like an open exhaust. Now everything has to run through the turbo, which kind of muffles it, and hopefully it'll give it a little bit better tone than it was before. Now, before I put our exhaust back in, I'm actually gonna hook up all our turbo piping, so we're just gonna use regular worm clamps. We're only gonna run 5, 6, 7 pounds of boost, so these should be perfect. Now our exhaust can go back in. I don't like that oil feed line.
Dang it, I forgot that this hose, the fitting for one of these is actually at the other garage, so we got to get the fitting to go from here and then put the hose onto that. So I'll have to run over to the other garage.
We actually get to put the front of this thing back on for like the final time. I can't put the top piece back on because I need to check the timing when I get it all done, but this piece can go back on. I hope.
No, that bolt hits. This bolt that I just put in here for boost reference, yeah, that hits. So, back to the drawing board for boost reference. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this housing off. I'm going to drill and tap right here in the top, and I'm going to mount our fitting right there, and then it just goes boop to boop. Look how itty bitty our little tiny turbo is. It's a little baby turbo. Look at that. That's about the height of my, yeah.
Should be able to just tap this now because I drilled it pretty close to what it's supposed to be. Pretty straight. Clean that out, but that was a little annoying extra step that we had to take. Annoying.
Totally just realized this during editing, but I forgot to plug that other hole next to the turbo where the old reference was. Shit. It's coming together.
Before I put the coolant in the front, I'm actually going to lift the rear, get my welder out, start welding up some of the bars in the back. Because I left a lot of stuff just tack welded, I'm going to try and beef it up a little bit. I'm not going to brace the axle. I have a feeling we're going to put a bigger axle in this eventually just because what's the point of beefing up a 1-inch axle when you can get like a 2-inch axle or whatever you can get, 1.5, I don't know what it is. That's going to take the power instead of adding 45 bearings to this one. So yeah, I got to grease this front bearing, put the wheel back on, and then flip it around and get underneath the backside. I spent a ton of time underneath there welding. I'll get the final welding when we strip this all apart one day and paint everything. Not gonna be today. So we're gonna hook up our radiator now and the lines, and then we can put the front back on. Look at his hair, it's wild.
Okay, I had to specifically build it this way because that top one had to go to this side just the way it routes up front. I did put a MPT fitting right here so we can kind of bleed it from the top here if we need to. And then I had to make this hose the way it is just so it would clear the wheelie bars because the mounts are like here, here, and then there's one actually up there as well. So it goes up and over the wheelie bars. I'm going to tip the front up and start pouring coolant in it. I didn't really check how high this fill point is off the ground, but it looks similar to the height of that radiator, so we might be pretty good. The radiator is, the top of it anyways, 27 inches-ish. It's pretty close. That's about 27 to the top of this too. So you should be able to start pouring coolant in it. And yes, we have to run coolant because it's Canada and it's cold outside. I might open that screw back here just until we get some coolant back there. Do we have any leaks yet? Yep, we got a leak back there. Oh no! It's coming from the weld. It must be because in between where I mounted this and that bar, there must be a small hole there somewhere. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna try and pull that off and save this coolant. It's still leaking! How? How are you leaking? Well, I finally grooved it all the way out with the grinder. I think I found the hole and then I could fill the hole afterwards. So I think I've done that. I put some coolant in it. It doesn't seem to be leaking. Okay, continue to put coolant in it. I don't think it's leaking from anywhere else, is it? Not yet, but it's bound to. All right, let's get the front in the air here a little bit. Now, technically when we fill this side, it should come out that MPT port on the back there. Oh, there it goes.
All right, now that it's full, we should be able to start this thing up and let it idle for a bit. I might hook my laptop up and try and get the timing setting at the same time, but we'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna hook my laptop up here, we'll fire it up, let it idle for a little bit. We got a temperature gun here to check inlet and outlet temperatures, hopefully, and then party.
All right, here goes nothing. I have timing set to 10 degrees, so hopefully that is okay. it looks like we've got a small leak in our tank right here. We need to build an overflow. And then we definitely have a large leak coming from right here on the crank case where I need that gasket to replace. So right here, there's a gasket piece missing, and that needs to be replaced. That's where all that oil is coming from. Other than that, I noticed that our headers were...
If you notice in the beginning there, the headers were extremely red, and that's because the ignition timing is too late and it's firing out the exhaust valve. So what I did was I advanced the ignition timing a whole bunch. It seems to be like it wants to be right around... I can't seem to find like the top dead center mark with the timing light for some reason, but it wants to be somewhere around 60 degrees before top dead centers, which I measured my wheel to be. And that's in the decoder, and then it likes 25 degrees of timing at idle. Pretty simple. I just have to wait for the next nice day to take it out. Right now it is actually snowing and minus 20 outside. Celsius, I don't know, that's like below 0 Fahrenheit as well, I think. And like I said, as I was putting the turbo together, it's gonna sound much better once we have the exhaust flapper on it, because it's gonna make those turbo noises. Everything's gonna have to go through the turbo, and it's not gonna be able to like scavenge around it. So there is a different tone on the exhaust, and when you whack it a little bit, you can hear the turbo make turbo noises. So as soon as we get that gasket, we'll get that gasket put in. I'll weld up our little coolant mistake there. The cooling system worked really well. It was sitting here probably running for about 10 minutes. It got up to 76 degrees Celsius, which is fine. Our gas tank has a little bit of pinhole leak in it as well, which is my own fault. I have not a lot of practice with small, thin sheet metal, so I was leaving little tiny pinholes. It's going to get fixed anyways. Yeah, as much as I'd love to take it outside right now, we can't with all this oil on the ground, and because I bought the last 2 gaskets that were on Amazon Prime, I had to wait a bit longer for the third one. I'm going to take some time, clean up my garage, because I clearly made it a mess in my haste to do things. And I'll see you guys next clear day. I'm really just waiting on the weather and the gasket, and we can take it out. Clearly, I finished everything. Everything's good now, except for like our little bit of leaks. But I finished everything. Everything's good now, except our little tiny leaks. I can put the hood thing back on. I can put everything back on. It is done, and I love it. Thank you guys for all your support. Every subscriber counts. Make sure to smash that thumbs up button. Peace easy. Get that V.
And remember to check out our own company, Black Sheep Industries Inc. and True North Turbos. You can find everything you need for your turbo build, whether it be flanges, wastegates, blow-off valves, turbos, all that fun stuff you want to go fast. And on top of going fast, you're helping out your favorite YouTuber. You can visit us at blacksheepindustriesinc.ca is down in my link tree.